Okay, guys, I wasn't expecting to make a second video so soon because I thought I covered the beginner's guide well enough to justify never making another one until they changed the starter handbook. But turns out I was wrong, right? I was entirely wrong. 8 days after my first video, the supply banner practically doubled overnight after a new patch. I was like, what the fuck are these banners? Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? Well, I had the exact same question and I asked my sensei about it, okay? So, I'll explain it in this video so you don't have to bother your sensei about it. Well, in any case, because there's so many things to explain as you can see with the video length. But, well, this video is like to give you a general knowledge on like the supply banner. The pros can definitely explain it better than me, but then why am I making this video then? Like, why not let the pros do it? Well, you see, Honkai is such a detailed and in-depth game that's a high learning curve and so many things happening at the same time for beginners and intermediate players and professional players, right? There's just so much stuff to cover that we can't really expect them to cover everything, okay? So today, I, as a beginner, will try my best to cover all the bases and all the things that I learned from my sensei so that you can understand and know about every single type of banner before getting shocked, okay? Like, I was completely shocked when I saw like 8 supply banners in my supply like tab. So, well, without further ado, let's just begin with the video, right? For starters, I'll start by explaining about what is supply, right? Supply in Honkai is where you obtain Valkyries and their gears. Well, sure, you can obtain Valkyries from farming on War Treasury or using asteroids, but most overpowered Valkyries, aka the meta, and their gears must be obtained from supplies, right? So supplies are unavoidable here, like everyone has to use it. Now, things that you didn't know is that there are around 12 types of supplies in Honkai. There's probably more in the future, but I'll explain like the 12 that I know, right? You won't see them all at one time because they will be rolled every few weeks, and then maybe 1 to 2 weeks, for some of them, and then some of them like a month. So there will always be a different amount of supply banners at the same time. So there are multiple banners is because they offer different things, right? Some supplies offer elves, okay? Some supplies offer you outfits, you know, like various types, so they have to have different banners. So I'll just start explaining one by one on all you need to know about each banner, right? And which one you should pull and which one you should not, alright? So first up, it is the dorm supply banner. So if you've watched the first video, I've mentioned it before, but now I'll just explain it in detail, alright? So this is the first supply you are introduced to, right, as a beginner. It is the standard banner, right? It contains selected older, okay, quote, older Valkyries that is usually available on the War Treasury shop as well. And the Valkyrie roster in this supply is updated every few version, alright? It's like every few updates, they will like change the whole Valkyrie roster in the supply. So, but even though they change, alright, they will always be older characters, alright? Keep note, they will always be older characters, alright? The supply banner, even though it costs 200 crystals per pull, which is 2,000 per 10 pull, right? It does look cheaper than other supplies, right? But it's a bait, alright? Do not pull from this supply and only pull on this banner using dorm cards that you get, right? The supply is just not worth investing because the Valkyries featured here are usually outdated. And if needed, you can farm them in the War Treasury shop instead, okay? You don't have to pull using crystals for this banner. You get enough like dorm supply card to pull in this banner. So next up is the second supply, which is the expansion supply, the second supply that you get in touch with. Okay, so the expansion supply, aka it's your Valkyrie supply, you know, the event Valkyrie supply, the new one or the rerun. Alright, the rerun usually lasts 7 days, but if you look at the Valkyrie banner right now, the expansion supply, it is the latest Valkyrie. This is her first banner, right? So the first banner will always last from 3 to 4 weeks, right? And then the reruns will last for 1 week, 2 weeks, right? That around there, right? It costs 280 crystals per pull, which is the normal rate for every other banner besides Storm Supply. A few exceptions, alright, but usually 280. And they always feature one character, a 1 S rank Valkyrie that is guaranteed to drop in 100 pulls. So every 10 pull, you're guaranteed to have 1 A rank Valkyrie, right? And the pity, which is like 100 pulls, if you don't get the character, let's say you pull 70 and you're so unlucky and there's 30 pulls left that to guarantee like the S rank Valkyrie, it will be carried over to the next expansion. So let's say you can't get her Show of Finality here. Let's say the next character is her Show of Truth, right? It won't be her Show of Truth, but for example, right? If it's, for example, the next expansion is her Show of Truth, you'll have 30 pity there. You know, like you have 70 pity. Sorry, you have 70 pity with, and then 30 more pulls to get her Show of Truth. So that's the idea, right? Normally, this is the go-to supply for beginners. Like, you want to pull in this banner because the Valkyries featured in expansion supplies are always the newer ones. It's not the newest. Usually, it's the newer ones, alright? So, they won't be falling out of the meta anytime soon. And as you can see, when you pull on this banner, if you look at the crystal on the screen, it's not a crystal, it's called Essentine, okay, whichever one you call it. So this thing, you get it automatically when pulling in expansion supply, right? The Essentine can be converted into the featured Valkyrie's fragments, okay? Like, every 10 pull, you're guaranteed 50 Essentines, and every 210 Essentines are needed to convert 1 fragment of non-awakening Valk fragment. Okay, I'm just reading off of it. It sounds fucking deep, but basically every 210 you get 1 fragment, right? And then, let's say you awaken the Valkyrie already. Then every 100, then you get 1 awakening Valkyrie fragment. So it just reduces the amount once you awaken it. The conversion is done automatically, so you don't really have to like worry. And one thing to note, this Essentine fragment, like doesn't carry over. So let's say you have like 160 Essentine right now. The next banner you'll just go back to 0, which is kinda unfortunate. So occasionally, okay, for a special expansion, there's a different version of a expansion supply, which is called the special expansion supply. Well, that's what I will call it, because in certain Valkyrie's debut, that gives the debut's Valkyries like gear after 60, 110, like containing the weapon box, 150 and 190 pulls respectively. Okay, I'm just looking at the picture because I don't really have like I've never seen this like expansion supply before, so I'm just judging from the picture, right, and judging from what my sensei told me. This allow players to pull the Valkyrie and gear at the same time, like possibly like saving crystals basically for if you have a very bad luck in focus expansion, which is like the gear banner, gear supply banner. So the major advantage of like this on this banner is that on 190 pulls in expansion, meaning it's like the least to get like a S rank Valk to S2, like even if you are getting just 1 character card in those like 190 pulls. However, since ranking a debut S rank Valkyrie beyond S0 is like unnecessary, like if you're usually S2 Valkyrie doesn't have like that big jump of a power spike. Like S0 is enough, right? S2 is like, it's like a, a bonus. It differs from characters, right? Like some characters do like, need this, but some characters don't. S0 is enough, right? To clear all the hard content. So now the usual recommended pull strategy for this like expansion supply, because there's also a focused supply for this. Like it's not like there isn't one. There's still a focused supply. So usually what people would tell you if you're like a beginner, it would be like, hey, just pull on this banner 60 times to get the stigmata box from the bar, like on the left side. Then pull the rest of the gear in focus supply, and then once you get a stigmata box, don't use it, and always use the stigmata box after you get like 2 of the 3 stigmas from focus supply, right? Makes sense, right? You don't want to just use the box and be like, hey, I'll just grab the middle piece, and then when you pull on focus, you get the middle piece again. It's like redundant. Like you're just like wasting your stigma box for no reason. But yeah, so special expansion supply, quite rare. When you see it, it's usually worth it, but you just have to make sure that the Valkyrie is not outdated. Yeah, sometimes you wanna pull like a trolling move and put like kind of older characters on there, debate you. So yeah, just make sure it's the newer characters. And then, yeah, well, following on is the focus supply, which I mentioned several times already, which is aka the gears for the Valkyrie. Okay, it's pretty simple. It almost always appear at the same time as like the Valkyrie's banner. They'll just follow, and they'll also follow like the duration, right? If it's 2 weeks, it's 2 weeks, and if it's 3 weeks, then 3 weeks. If it's 1 week, then 1 week, right? Follows the expansion supply duration. And the pity here is that every 50 pulls, you're guaranteed to get a gear of the Valkyrie, like just like either weapon or stigmata, right? But the main difference between the expansion supply and focus supply is that the pity won't be carried over to the next one, like the next focus supply. It still costs the same, 280 crystals per pull, but just keep in mind that the pity doesn't get carried over. Quite unfortunate. Just make sure you have like 50 pulls to instantly get the guaranteed. If not, you're just wasting your pulls, which is not a good idea. And after this supply, you don't really touch it unless you got the Valkyrie from the featured expansion supply, right? You don't pull for this for other characters. That's not how it works. Okay, in this game, you have to have the specific character that uses this to justify you pulling this. Like every character has their own stakes and weapons. No reason to pull this for a different character. So just keep that in mind. Well, in the bottom left, if you notice, there's a wishing well icon, right? So the wishing well is a feature that can help you ease the pain of getting multiple duplicates of stigmata, like by converting 2 extra stigmas of the same set that you have into stigmata on the set that you don't own yet, right? It's quite nice. Like, but it also costs like 2,000 red resonance, which basically means that you need 4 duplicates, right? Because you need to disenchant, like salvage 2 of them for the red resonance, and then you have to have 2 extra to slot in. So that means you need 4. Just be careful, like salvaging carelessly, like your sticks, might cause you missing important gears. Just salvage the correct one, right? Lock the ones that you don't want to be salvaged, right? Do note that the wishing well can only be done once per banner duration. Like, you can only do it once. I'm not sure why you want to do it twice, but usually you can only do it once per banner duration, and once you've done it, it's gone until like the next banner, right? So just keep that in mind. I'm not sure why people would want to like convert to, but it's stated here, so I'll state it out. So Oh, on a side note, the duplicate stigmata doesn't have to be like different. Like it can be on the same tier. Like let's say you have 2 bottom, you can use 2 bottom. You don't have to use like, let's say you're missing top and you have duplicates of bottom but don't have any duplicates of the middle one. You can just use all the bottom ones to convert to the top one. So yeah, just had to like fill that in before I move on. Moving on, alright, with the story banner. The one that presents like 2 Valkyries at the same time, like on the splash art. Like on this version, it's Palatina's Equinox, butchered the name, and Herrscher of Human Ego. Alright. But you must say, like, if you're a beginner and you've been looking at guides besides mine, you will find out that almost every other guide you find on YouTube is the previous starter banner, right? The previous starter banner is Herrscher of Flame Scion and Herrscher of Sentience, okay? At that time, they were the meta characters as the trio right now was not released and the expansion supply wasn't as good as the current one, right? Because Herrscher of Origin has like a pretty crazy event supply banner. But yeah. So that's why people recommended the story banner back then. You know, it was crazily good. But now it's entirely different, right? You have overall, okay, the value of the 3 new characters, like Truth, Finality, and Origin, is just huge. Like the value is just huge at the moment. Like you can see from my gameplay footage, even though I'm using them like a fucking noob, alright, I'm still doing like huge damage, right? Like just don't judge me, I'm still learning the rotation. But back to the banner introduction. The banner like lasts for 90 days for both Valkyrie and Gears. But once it's gone, it's like gone for good. Like this story banner don't come back. It's like gone for good, and then they'll rotate to different characters on the starter banner. Like despite like the same pulling cost as the expansion and focus banner, which is like 280, the featured Valkyries technically is counted as new. Okay. But side note, okay, the pity on this story banner is not going to be carried on to the next starter supply, right? Like, it's the same as the focus supply, it doesn't carry. Like, 3 months later, new banner, gone. Like, the pity is just gone, right? As for the focus supply in the starter supply, okay, this is confusing because there's in the starter supply there's like different categories and there's focus supply there. The off-rate gears usually contain very outdated gears, right? Like it is still not recommended, but you know, like if you have the character, you have to pull for the gear anyway, so don't pull like I said, like previously on the focus supply, don't pull for focus supply unless you have the designated character. It's just not worth it. Sticks and weapons can't like cross over into different characters you use. It's just not worth it, right? So, however, like right now the starter banner is not good, okay, but it doesn't mean that it's always going to be not good. Just do take note to consult with a professional, okay, in Honkai regarding about the starter focus supply, because the starter supply and the starter expansion supply and the starter focus supply, oh my god. So sometimes it just may not be worth it, you know, like sometimes it may be worth it. Just consult like your sensei or like a friend about it, and they'll give you their opinion, right? So now this next one is going to be a bit more confusing, which is it's called the select supply. It's currently happening right now, but I'll try my best to make it more visualized so you guys can understand. Okay, select means choosing, right? You're choosing what you want to pull, but it doesn't really mean that. I'll explain right now. Like, yes, you can choose, like, in your own brain, you can choose one of the 3 Valkyries you want to pull. Okay, but in the game, even though it's called Select Supply, there isn't a selection screen. Okay, so just picture this. All right, the duration of Select Supply, like this tab, is 2 weeks. All right, so for the first 2-3 days, we had Herrscher of Truth. Okay, then right now until like 3 days later, you get Herrscher of Human Ego, which is the current banner right now. And then the next 2 to 3 days, like after the Herrscher of Human Ego like banner ends, you get another character for 2 to 3 days in the Select Supply tab. Then after, it rotates back to Herrscher of Truth. Okay, so it goes like this, so on and so forth, until it fulfills the 2 weeks. So that's why it's named the Select Supply. You know, you can choose the supply you want. It's just rotating while it's like happening. So you just pull during when it comes back, right? So if let's say you pulled Herrscher of Truth yesterday and you didn't get her, so you just have to wait until next week Tuesday to get her again. That's what I heard, right? So that's the idea of this supply. Well, if you can see, and this type of supply, which is it's like a tight train station schedule. Like, it's just rotating, right? And you can't really save up enough, like the 2 weeks banner. You can like save up heap tons, and then you just instantly like roll all of it at once. No, it's like on a tight schedule because it's 2 to 3 days. That's not enough to save up, you know. But the rules are the same as the normal expansion supply and focus supply. Like, the expansion pity does carry over, you know, like if you didn't get the character, it does carry over to the next expansion supply. But the focus pity still does not carry over. Okay, focus supply pity do not carry over, right? Oh yeah, okay. Fun fact, Select Supply banner only appears twice a year, right? It only applies twice a year, so it won't come back for a really long time. So take your chances on pulling the Herrscher of Truth, right? Okay, Herrscher of Truth is really strong, right? Continuing on, the SP supplies, okay? Self-explanatory. It's just the supplies for SP Vault. Okay, SP means support Valkyries, right? It's for both their character cards and gears. So usually it lasts for 3 weeks. You know, the support Valkyries are usually formable with like asteroids like Pardo, Eden, etc. Well, their character cards are just not worth pulling because it's farmable, right? So like, you can farm it faster than you pulling for the character, so it's not really necessarily, and it's not worth like pulling if you're like tight on crystals. It's just not. Just farm the thing. Now, sometimes, okay, you may say, let's say I farmed the character already. Oh, I have the character already, so I can skip this banner. No. Actually, you're pulling on this banner is because of their gear, you know? What's the one usual rule that applies in Honkai? The characters need their gear because it's so important. Like, they need their weapon, they need their stigmatas. It's very important. So if the support gear banner, which is like the support focus banner, shows that they are only 30 pity for each gear, pull on it. Like, just grab them. Like, if you have Eden and you want her gear, pull. You have to pull. Like, she needs her weapon, she needs her sticks. Very valuable, and it won't appear in the same banner next time. Like it just happens once and it won't come back again, right? So you see the point, right? It's very important. Pull for gear if you have the character. You must shove this. I must put this thought into your brain, alright? Well, we have introduced 6 banners now, and I hope you guys are still with me, yeah? Like, just grab some water or food, alright? Because I have like 6 more banners to explain. So, 25 minutes in and I only explained 6. Oh god, okay. Well, no. Moving on is the firepower supply, alright? The firepower supply is a special banner that can only be pulled 10 times. Right? You can do a 10 pull and that's it. So for the whole banner duration, it lasts for 4 weeks. But you can only pull 10, okay? I'll explain why, okay? Because this banner is actually it's like a customization, right? You can customize your gear drop pull, right? Like you can select 5 different weapons and 5 different sets of stigmatas, and you are guaranteed to get the gear that you don't own yet. You know, like it's 100% guaranteed, like because it's a 10 pull, like it has to be guaranteed. So okay, this also includes gears that you had owned but you have already salvaged. Like, let's say you're like, oh my god, this stigmata set is so like useless. I'll just salvage it, and then when this banner comes out, it's like, oh shit, I salvaged the thing already. It's like, no, it still counts as you owning the stick already, right? So the rule of thumb of this supply is you should have enough gears in the list before considering pulling. Okay, here's why. You can only have 10 pull, right? Keep in mind you can have 10 pull, and you might get any gear in the list, in the list that you chose, okay? And sometimes some of them you don't really want. Like how could you have like 5 different weapons and 5 sets of stigmatas that you need? Like, why do you need all this, you know? Like, so a small explanation, like let's say you select 5 weapons that you have owned, and then 4 stigmata sets that you own, okay? And 1 set of stigmata set you don't own. So what happens now is that you are 100% guaranteed to get the whole stigmata set in that 10 pull. Like you understand why you should have enough gear in the list before pulling, right? Like this supply, even though it looks beginner friendly to help you get like gear, it's more intermediate player friendly. Like you have like a lot of weapons already and like stigmatas already, but you're like missing a few, you know, you're like missing a few. This helps you, you know, but not necessarily for beginners, because you have like no weapons, no stigmatas, and you randomly get 1 of the 10, which is kind of yikes, you know, like, so not really a beginner supply banner, but it is like an intermediate supply banner. Or if you're like a collectionist and you want like the missing pieces, it's a pretty good banner. Next up is the Schicksal Arsenal supply. I might have butchered the name, but oh well. This is also an event banner, okay? But this event banner contains a divine key weapon, G4 stigmatas, and support Valkyrie gear. It also costs 280 crystals per pull, but remember I said earlier that support Valkyrie supply only appears once? Okay, so this is where after the debut supply, support supply is over, their gear will be shoved into this banner for every subsequent reruns, alright? So this banner has just a higher drop rate on all 4-star weapons and stigmatas, But only one divine key weapon is guaranteed to drop per supply, like in 50 pulls, okay? The guarantee. So if you're pulling for divine key weapon, this supply is just usually very cursed and it's not so recommended to pull on for the divine key weapon, okay? Because imagine so many years of divine key weapons getting dumped into this supply, and you can only get one every 50 pulls. Like, Jesus Christ, good luck getting the divine key weapon that you want, right? But for stigmatas and supply for stigmatas and support Valkyrie gear, however, it's still really valuable, and it's like a must for your support characters, you know? So just proceed with caution, right? When deciding to pull for support gears on this supply. It's still good. Don't get me wrong, it's still good. It's just proceed with caution, because there's more stuff in this banner, right? So just keep that in mind. So for all the whales out there, like future whales that want to whale in this game, this is for you. It's called the ADV Supply. I think it's called the Advanced Supply. I'm gonna assume. This supply aims for anyone who doesn't own the featured Valkyrie, right? But also wants to immediately rank up the Valkyrie to SS in 100 pulls. It also costs 280 crystals per pull, and for every 10 pulls out there, you are guaranteed 10 fragment drop of the featured Valkyrie. Like, think of it as like Herschel of Origins, like special expansion supply. Like you get like a box every 10 pull. Like that's the idea. Now, well, you would now think like, what the fuck? That's like such a good deal for free to plays. You know, you get SS in 100 pulls. No, it is not that good valued. Okay, the Valkyrie featured in this supply is usually older Valkyries, alright, that has not yet entered like the dorm supply, you know? Like, basically they have fallen off the meta and needs max rank up to be worth it. So overall, it's not really worth pulling for free to plays. You're still better off pulling for the normal expansion supply to get like the newer characters. But just keep that in mind. But for reals and you want to max out the character, maxed out character doesn't really maxed out character can't really compare to like S0 characters, you know? So okay, we're gonna now move back on to a more familiar face and what everyone should know if you've watched the first video, alright? It's the event supply. It's the supply banner that has Herschel of Origin in it right now. So basically it's just, everyone know, it's a discounted supply, okay? Like, this, instead of like the normal 50 pity for each featured gear, this supply guarantees a gear every 30 pulls, okay? In addition, right, everyone should know, every 10 pull done in the expansion banner or the focus banner, we'll give you back 5 focus. We will give you back 5 like supply cards, like focus or expansion, depending on which one you pull. So basically, you're pulling 10 pulls for like 5. Like, you know, it's such a good value, right? But listen, do consult with an expert, expert in this game, when trying to pull for the event supply, because not all event supply is like the Herschel of Origins banner. Like, Herschel of Origin is crazily good, okay? But not all characters are crazily good, because sometimes the event supply, you know, may be considered as a bait banner, like bait, you know, because not all characters are as overpowered or as versatile as Herschel of Origin right now, right? So it might be a debate for you. So just consult with someone before pulling on an event supply. Alright. Now, we are done with all the banners that are for Valkyries and their gear. we are now moving on to the other types of banners, alright? The first one is the elf supply. So, self-explanatory, it's just a supply for S-rank elves. When you reach high enough level, you unlock elves that can like help you with like combat. They cost 150 crystals per pull, which is like lesser than normal. But you don't really need to know about this banner too much because it's just like an additional, this is an additional banner for like end game players, right? Because when you don't have anything else much to like help you improve your damage, you move on to like the smaller stuff to get like the tiny minute damage difference, right? You know, you can pull on this banner like if you think the elf's like cute. I'm not gonna lie, they look fucking cute. Like I would like want one, but you know, but if you don't really care, like you don't pull on this banner. Like just completely ignore it. Yay. Also, the one good thing about elf supply is that elf supply pity also carry over the next elf supply banner. So yay. And for the final banner of this video is the outfit supply. This supply is also self-explanatory. It's just pulling for an outfit for your character, okay? The supply lasts for 2 weeks, and aside from the featured outfit, of course, they have to put other like stuff inside to fuck with your luck, but you know, there's gonna be like 9 more items that can be obtained from here. Yeah, usually includes like Valkyrie stamps, like the older ones, okay? The older ones. It's not like it's going to be there's just not going to give you something better in a random banner. There's no way. It's not MiHoYo, okay? Fun fact, this banner's pulling cost starts at 0. Okay, yeah. It's free on the first pull, okay? Even if you're not aiming for the outfit, just pull the first one. And you know, you might get a good item. You might get the costume in the first pull. You never know, you know. But with every pull, the cost of the pull increases. So it's not like the normal banner where it just stays consistently at 280. It just increases all the time. I'm not sure how much, but I only know it just increases by every pull. But the overall total crystal to get the outfit, like which is like hitting the pity if you're like so unlucky, it's 9,600 crystal. Okay, well, you can always get the featured outfit before hitting the last pull, but I'm just saying, like, always prepare at least like 9,600 crystals if you want to pull the outfit. You know, like the outfit in here like very rarely gets a rerun. Like if you miss it, it's like gone forever. And then the pity doesn't carry the next outfit supply because, you know, like the supply is always changing, and they don't really put out that much outfit. Well, they do, okay, but not as often as the other banners, right? So I haven't seen an outfit supply, so I'm just gonna assume that it's rare, alright? They don't really like rerun this. So yeah, congratulations, you are probably one of the few people who finished watching the entire video. It's already 40 minutes long, so I just hope you have like a general understanding on all the current different supplies and like can help you make a decision what supply you should pull on like currently and maybe in the future, right? It's always so good to have like some knowledge. And also, you should always consult a player, an experienced player, a sensei, or like comment below to let all the pro players to give you some advice on like any new supplies that are coming out like in the future or right now. Like you can ask anything in the comments. I'll try and reply. My sensei will try to reply. Okay, shout out to May's chair to help me make this video. And yeah, as always, I hope everyone enjoyed the video and understand about every single supply now. So yeah, bye!